I'm not being cold or callous when I say this, but I don't care if you think I'm really a shaman or not. It makes no difference to me whether or not people believe I'm a shaman. There have been many people in my past who have not believed I was really a shaman. But I do tell people, hey, you know, I'm really a shaman. There's certain things that shamans do and certain things that shamans go through that give evidence to that. You know, I often don't give people evidence that I'm a shaman. I don't feel like I should have to, unless you really want to work with me or unless you really want to know, hey, Patrick, I want to really know if you're a shaman or not. The reason I know I'm a shaman is because other shamans told me that that's what was going on with me. I had no idea. Many of you already know my story. And today I'm going to talk a little bit more about my story, but in the context of some signs that you know you're dealing with a real shaman or a legitimate shaman. I don't want to get into all of fake versus real or anything like that. What I will tell you is I'm a serious shaman. I take this work very, very seriously. And I have met some people who have claimed to be shamans who don't take it all that seriously. And for them, it can be kind of jokey or a role or a cosplay. And I am not putting those people down at all. Do not get it twisted. I think it takes all types. And if anybody is doing the spirit work, if they are willing to do the spirit work, that it's all part of it. You know, fake people need fake shamans. So I'm not going to begrudge a man for doing that or a woman for doing that. I do know this, that a lot of people couldn't handle working with a serious shaman. And I'm going to talk about that today in this episode of the Shaman Patrick Show. If you have only seen non-serious shamans, the stuff that comes out of my mouth might shock you, might disturb you. I might tell you things you're not ready to hear. And a serious shaman will do that. There are hallmarks of a serious shaman. We're going to talk about those today. But I do want to tell you that I did not take a class to become a shaman. I did not wake up one day and decide, oh, I'll be a shaman. No. It was a slow realization, a difficult coming to terms with it, because it is a very difficult thing to come to terms with. It has all sorts of implications when you realize you're a shaman. You know, we don't have a culture here in America. We don't have a lineage here in America, but the spirits are very insistent. They want shamans to emerge in America. And it's quite a daunting task, especially when the culture of America doesn't seem to want us, nor do the core shamanic powers that be seem to want us. So we can feel a little homeless. And I have felt homeless in this process. But it turns out that all avenues got closed off for me. I couldn't have a normal job. I couldn't have a normal life. I had to do this. So if you're on board with what I'm going to talk about today, about signs of a real shaman, maybe we can start to appreciate those who are serious about this, who are serious shamans. And if you're a non-serious shaman, or if somebody wants to call you a fraudulent shaman or a plastic shaman or anything like that, stick around. There is a path to seriousness with this. There is. And I especially want to reach those of you who are dabbling in it, not taking it seriously. I want to help you get serious about it, because it is a very serious thing. And also, I don't want to be lumped in a category of somebody who is not taking it seriously. So this video is going to have a lot of different purposes. This episode is going to show you the characteristics of a serious shaman. I've seen other people talk about this, people on YouTube. There's been articles. There are characteristics and signs that you're dealing with a legitimate, real, true, serious shaman. There are signs. You can start to look out for these signs. And what prompted this? I mean, I've been working on this for over a decade now, but many people would tell me, you're not a shaman, Patrick. You're not a shaman because you do this, or because you do this, or because you do this. So I just did some research. Okay, well, if I'm not a real shaman, then I want to know what makes me not a real shaman. Because as far as I know, and from what other shamans have told me, this is going on. So I did look that up, and I did look at what most people say what a real shaman is. And when I looked at those things, I was like, well, I'm already doing that. I've been doing this for over a decade now. You can see that I'm pretty much the same way that I was back then, except now I'm more articulate, I'm more sober, I'm wiser, and I'm more driven now than ever. And let's talk about those signs or symptoms or hallmarks, whatever you want to call it, characteristics about what a legitimate shaman does and maybe doesn't do. Shamanism is the world's oldest spiritual practice. It predates all religion. And in fact, shamanism is not a religion. It is a spiritual practice. It's a natural function of humanity that healers will emerge wherever they are needed. So accepting the role of a shaman is a very sacred, profound thing. And we must not cheapen it. We must not put forth the idea that it's something easy to achieve. It's not. It is not. It was not easy for me. It's not easy for any shaman that I know. It's just not. So that's one of the big things right off the bat that I want to get across. Usually the shaman does not want to be a shaman. And we're going to talk about that later in this video about what to do if you don't want to be a shaman. I liken it to realizing you're gay. You may not want to be gay, but you're going to learn how to love being gay because you have to learn to love who you are. So fake shamans, non-real shamans, you won't get any hate or derision from me. Maybe nobody told you. Maybe nobody shared with you. Like maybe nobody is in your life to call you out on your own bullshit. It's okay. You know, we live in an ego-based culture. Bullshit is supported. Bullshit will be widely accepted. And then somebody like me comes along. They're like, well, Patrick, shamans usually don't have YouTube channels. Shamans usually don't do this. And shamans usually don't do that. I'm like, okay, so I'm not interested in what other people usually do. I'm my own shaman. Some people will tell me how to practice my shamanism. I'm like, how do you know so much about my shamanism? You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to explore these signs today. And hopefully you will be able to make a decision for yourself. Are you dealing with a legitimate shaman or a shaman who's not so serious about it? No hate from me. No hate from me. Maybe you just didn't know. I mean, I didn't know this stuff. I had to learn this by hook or by crook. And that's the way it is for a lot of us in the West. Shamanism is not for the faint of heart or for Instagram likes. We're not here to argue about who's a real shaman and who's not. That debate is for others. We know that plastic people need plastic shamans, so we are not about to hate on so-called fake shamans. We don't do that here. We use a different lens. Serious shaman versus non-serious shaman. That's it. That's the scale. And even real shamans can be somewhat non-serious about it at times. And I think the thing I want to get across here is that let's recognize the signs of people who are serious about it and people who are not serious about it. If you're a serious shaman, it will be readily apparent to anyone when they know what to look for. That's how people knew what was going on with me, because I had many of these characteristics and signs. Some folks can't handle working with a serious shaman, and that's okay, because a serious shaman isn't here to stroke your ego. They're here to help you obliterate it. Shamanism is not some flower crown fairy dust hobby. It's brutal, raw, and transformational. A true shaman is forged in fire, not certified on Zoom. Still, you might be wondering, how can I how can I tell if I'm dealing with a serious shaman? We got you. Let's break it down. Now, before I break it down, I hear a lot of people say this. Oh, you need an ego, or working on ego is unhealthy. Working on ego, it's unhealthy. Oh gosh, you gotta have an ego. Okay, well, you're putting the cart before the horse there. Before you get to that, you have to understand and know all of those machinations of ego. We wrote a book about it called The Machinations of Ego. It says here that it ships June 16th, but guess what? The ego is putting up quite a fight. We're not taking pre-orders right now for it because we want to re-announce it when it's finally done and ready for publication. For those of you who have pre-ordered, we've notified you and let you know of our proposed ship date. Thank you for your patience. But I do want to let you know that we wrote a book on it so that by the time you say, by the time you finish it, you're saying, I don't really need an ego at all, really. No, don't really need it. That's the point of that. So thank you to the sponsor of this video, The Machinations of Ego, on this video. We will get the book printed and out into people's hands, but the ego is putting up quite a fight. I hope you understand that. We were very, did we not think the ego was going to try to fuck this up? Of course, but we're on top of it. And while we're at it, the ego, oh God. The ego. Someday I'll tell you some stories about what happened while we were working on that book. All right. So a sign of a serious shaman is they've got a dark, twisted sense of humor. A serious shaman has seen footage. They've been spiritually gutted and stitched back together more times than they can count. And when you've danced with death and conversed with disembodied spirits, you learn to laugh hard. Their humor might be shocking, inappropriate, or straight up offensive, but that's intentional. It rattles the ego. Expect to laugh while you cry. A shaman is a comedian. Shamans can be really funny, and a lot of that humor comes from the fact that they've seen it all. Everything just kind of seems silly to them. Everything seems kind of ridiculous and nonsensical. I mean, a shaman is like a court jester. And they'll make fun of themselves a lot. They'll make fun of themselves. They'll be able to poke holes and poke fun at themselves. You can call a shaman on their bullshit too. They'll probably laugh at you and say, yeah, I see it too. Yeah. So if you come across any of the videos I've ever made and you hear me cracking jokes or being offensive or saying confrontational things, that's what a shaman does. And that's what a shaman should be doing. They should making you laugh your ass off while you're crying, while healing. In my sessions, there's a lot of laughter. Some of my spirits are really, really funny. My spirit helpers are really funny because it's all ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. So another sign of a shaman, a serious shaman, is that it's shamanism 24/7. You'll know you're dealing with a serious shaman because they can't not do the work. It's in their bones. They don't turn it on or off. There's no weekend warrior mode. They live it, breathe it, dream it. Their whole life revolves around spirits, healing, and inner work. They don't have hobbies. Shamanism is the hobby and the job and the lifestyle. And you will see this in serious shamans. They're always talking about inner work. They're always talking about healing. They're always talking about shadow work. They just never stop. It can drive some people crazy, and it usually does, but that's the point. I mean, if you're really doing the inner work, it feels good. And you want to talk about those things that feel good. Now, a shaman will generally not talk about doing inner work with people who he or she is not working with. However, some people can wander into their path and go, why are you talking about all this stuff? Because the shaman can't turn it off. The shaman can't stop. Now, maybe a shamanic practitioner will be able to turn it off. So a shamanic practitioner, as opposed to a shaman, is someone who is called by spirit. They know how to do certain shamanic things, but it is not a key part of who they are. Should I get into the differences of practicing and just being a shaman? A shaman is a shaman is a shaman is a shaman. There is no, it is embedded and interwoven into their life. They literally could not take a break if they wanted to. There are no vacations in this line of work. There aren't any days off. And here's another thing people may not realize. Your personal needs sometimes line up with what the spirit needs, but often, the shaman really doesn't have that much of a personal life that they engage in. It's pretty much all working 24/7, but they love the work. They love it. So it doesn't actually feel like work. And that's how you'll know someone is a serious shaman, because it's so embedded into them, body, mind, and soul. And another sign is that they're confrontational and psychic as hell. They will say things you're not ready to hear. They'll call out your bullshit without blinking. And sorry, they'll probably know that secret you hoped no one could ever sense. But here's the kicker. They're not mean. They're truth tellers. If you're lying to yourself, they'll know. And if you're lying to others, they'll really know. And it's disturbing for people that I know stuff about them that they never told. And so some people try to keep secrets from me or tell me things that aren't true. And, I was raised by narcissistic alcoholics who hid everything from me. And that was a rite of passage. Many people who were raised in narcissistic homes like that, deeply dysfunctional, you start to get a nose for the news. You start to be able to tell truth from fiction and all that kind of stuff. So it's a fine-tuned sense that the shaman develops over time. And bullshit smells like bullshit. And I tell people, don't tell me your secrets. Don't tell me what you don't want other people to know. But at the same time, I probably already know them. And you know what? Nobody cares about your secrets. Nobody cares. Actually, secrets keep you sick. And I encourage people to be honest, because the truth comes out anyway. The truth usually comes out anyway. Now, some people might say that I'm honest to a fault, like that I share too much about my personal life. But so there's some things I just can't hide. I can't hide. I don't want to hide. There's some things going on in my life right now that are very difficult. I don't know how to get through them. I don't know. But I'm definitely not going to pretend to you that I know. Like right today, I don't feel so hot. I don't feel so good. I'd much rather be laying down in bed, cuddling with my cat. But there is work to do. And that's another thing that you'll know of a shaman. They will show up even if they don't feel 100%. I won't call out a sick of shamanism, but that's because I can't. But yeah, we are confrontational. That's part of it. People come see me because they know I'm going to call them out on their bullshit. Some people that I've worked with relish it. They say, Patrick, please tell me where I'm stuck. Other people, it makes them sick to their stomach. Many people have chosen to exit my life because they want to keep things secret. And you know what? If you want to keep your secrets, that's fine. But just know, everybody knows them anyway. I mean, everybody knows my secrets, and I don't care. You shouldn't really care if people know about your secrets or not, because everybody does fucked up shit. Everybody has things in their past. You're supposed to fuck up and do shit in your human incarnation. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I've met perfect people. It's amazing. In my lifetime, I have been so lucky to have been raised by perfect parents, to have had perfect aunts and uncles, perfect in-laws. Like, God, I am so lucky to be surrounded and guided by so many perfect people who are conveniently not a part of my life right now. They're so perfect. Wow, I am so very lucky to have been guided by such perfect people. And I'm just marveling at that. And of course, I'm being sarcastic because they say they're perfect, but we all know they're not, because nobody is. Nobody's perfect. Get used to it. You're not perfect. Hey, you're a piece of shit. Guess what? Just like everybody else. And don't it feel good? Don't it feel good? Another sign that you're dealing with a legitimate shaman is they talk to spirits because spirits talk back. This isn't metaphorical. For the serious shaman, spirits are as real as you are, often more so. They'll have an entire squad of non-physical allies, and sometimes more spirit friends than human ones. They'll speak animism fluently, and when they relay a message from the other side, it will hit you like a lightning bolt. And this is fun. I started laughing while reading this because I can't remember where I was. It might have been in Nashville a few years ago, but I met another shaman, and we were having a conversation, and then Merrick asked him, "Oh, so what spirits do you work with?" And he goes, "Spirits? I don't believe in spirits." Merrick and I just looked at each other because we know that being a shaman, it's spirit initiation. Like, how are you a shaman and you don't believe in spirits? That's crazy. That's wackadoo. We didn't call him out. We're like, oh, okay. Because here's the deal. If you're calling yourself a shaman and you're not serious about it, and you insist on calling yourself a shaman and not being serious about it, the spirits are gonna, they did me. Happens to us all. Ask any shaman. If you're not serious about it, or if you're clowning around with it, or if you're being jokey about it, or if you're doing it to manipulate or hurt other people. So go ahead. That's why I don't mind if people call themselves a shaman. Some people say you shouldn't call yourself a shaman, but if that's what's going on with you, please do, because the spirits will sort that out. Or they'll kill you. They will. Hey, look, my life right now could end if the spirits wanted me to stop. If the spirits wanted me to stop, they would kill me. I mean, they told me if I didn't get sober, they were just going to kill me because I would be of no use to them. They tolerated my alcoholic bullshit, my drug bullshit for as long as possible. And then they were like, well, Patrick, you have to choose. And if you don't choose to be sober, we will fucking kill you. We will fucking end your life. And that's a perfect segue into this next one, which is they're usually sober. And if not, be wary. The serious shaman does not need to be high to contact the divine. They can shift states at will without herbs, powders, or ceremonies. While they may have used psychedelics in the past, they know the risks and rarely endorse it for others, especially in group settings with strangers. If a shaman is trying to feed you drugs, that's not medicine. It's malpractice. Now, anybody can feed you drugs and simulate a spiritual experience. It's rather lazy. It's really lazy. It is so lazy that I'm like, man. And some people think that's what shamanism is. Some people think that sweat lodges are shamanism. It's from Native American culture. It's not my culture. I stay away from shit that's not really my culture, if you know what I mean. Because shamans are born from the culture where they are needed, whether that be in a city or the country or a town or a village, or even in the midst of the military. Wherever a shaman is needed, that shaman will be born and that shaman will be trained. Many shamans come from very broken homes, and many of them have been addicts. And I've never met a shaman who used drugs. Oh, and you might say, well, Patrick, you've never met a real shaman before. I'm like, okay, sure. But you can do your own research and you can look around as well. There are many drug shamans out there, and they do feed people drugs to simulate a spiritual experience. But the real test will be if that shaman can help you and help you. I mean, I can take you through an altered state if you want to. You want to go into an altered state with me? I'm pretty much always in an altered state. 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Now, you might be wondering why I'm vaping on camera today. I'll reveal that later at the end. But there's a very good reason for that. Because some people think that you shouldn't smoke, or you shouldn't drink coffee, or you shouldn't do any of those things. And I'm on the fence about that, because I do know the benefits of nicotine. And the way that it was presented to me is that nicotine does enhance spiritual activity. So you said, well, Patrick, you just say you don't need drugs to do any of that. I'm like, I don't. Maybe I just like vaping. Okay, so here we go. A serious shaman will be focused on health, wellness, and eating whole food. Bitch, I'm a walking contradiction. Most of us are. And perhaps being physically fit instead of being unhealthy or overweight. It's all about mental, physical, and spiritual health for the serious shaman. And I want to go back a little bit more to these drug dealing shamans. You know, I'm going to encourage people to be legal. Don't do illegal drugs. Don't do anything illegal. I mean, don't practice psychology without a license. Know your limits. Don't be a charlatan. There are real world dangers of being a non-serious shaman. A non-serious shaman is going to probably try to do sweat lodges or fire circles, or anything that could potentially put people in danger, give them drugs or whatever. That's dangerous. Shamanism, working with spirits, is danger enough without having to bring all that extra stuff in there. And besides, you don't need it. You don't need it. Even ice plunges, like we like to do ice plunges, but I'm definitely not going to force anybody into an ice plunge for any other reason, unless they just really want to go and I happen to know them and they're hanging out with me. I tend to stay away from that ritualistic stuff that can be extremes, because it can be dangerous. And I also refer people to medical doctors and also psychologists or therapists, and sometimes even psychiatrists. Get yourself checked out physically and mentally before engaging with a shaman, because that's what a serious shaman would do. Here's something I'll tell you. You know, when I was gay, I knew that I sort of had to blend in with the culture. I knew that. I wasn't about to be like, hey, bitches, my name is Patrick, and I am here in Walmart in 1985 going, hey, girl, hey, girl. I would have gotten killed. So I tried to be on the down low. I played by the rules. I didn't wear makeup to school. I didn't wear high heels to school. Not that I wore that stuff anyway, but I toned it down. You see? Toned it down to assimilate with a culture that I knew would take any opportunity to hate on me. I believed it was my role as a gay man to show, hey, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. The only thing I do differently is suck dick. But otherwise, I'm just like any other straight man. But I know some straight. Okay, never mind. But I felt like it was my duty to assimilate into the culture. Today, I also feel like it's my duty as a serious shaman to assimilate into the culture. I'm not trying to bring down psychiatry or bring down the pharmaceutical industry or anything like that. I'm not doing that at all. But what I am doing is assimilating into a culture. That's why I am not practicing psychology without a license. I am following all the laws that I can follow, because that's the way we're doing it here. I'm not here to tear institutions down or to battle against the elites who want to control us. Shamans in this culture will be assimilators, serious shamans. We won't want to draw any undue attention to us than we have to. And we probably won't get involved in situations where somebody might die, or somebody might be in danger, or somebody might flip out on some drugs that we give them, end up in psychosis. There's a lot of headlines about this particular thing. Yes, there are. Okay, so we're at number 5, and it looks like this video is going to be a bit longer than I wanted it to be. But I tell you what, instead of making an hour-long video, I'm going to keep it to 30 minutes, and I will post the rest of these in the next video. And so this video will be part 1, and I hope you'll come back for the next one, because I really don't want these Shaman Patrick Show episodes to be longer than 30 minutes. So tomorrow, on a special Saturday edition, I will be posting part 2 of this on here in the Shaman Patrick Show. So to sum up, I'm going to sum up what we talked about before we go. They've got a dark, twisted sense of humor. It's shamanism 24/7. They're confrontational and psychic as hell. They talk to spirits because spirits talk back, and they're usually sober. And if not, be wary. And I am saying that because I want serious shamans to be safely serious shamans. We need to care more about our clients and the people we help than anything else. And anybody I work with, their safety is my number one priority, and it should be for any serious shaman. All right, thank you for watching this episode. Join me for part 2, signs you are dealing with a serious shaman. I love you all so very much, and I'm going to speak for my husband here. Don't forget that we love you. Yes, we do.